Hi everyone, welcome back. We have got some new makeup to try today. It has been so long since I have filmed one of these videos. I have accumulated quite a bit of new makeup between things that I've purchased or just things that I've received in PR. So we're gonna try some of it today. I have so many things that I'm not gonna be able to try all of it. This is gonna have to be spread out over a few videos, but I picked some stuff today that we're gonna try. I have the new Jones Road sunscreen and tinted moisturizer, Makeup by Mario eyeshadows, Hourglass eyeshadows, Summer Fridays blush, a bunch of different things that I've been holding on to for when I could finally sit down and film this video, because it's been a while. It's been a few months since I sat and just tried some new makeup with you guys, so I cannot wait. I'm so excited. But that is what we're doing today, and if you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on my YouTube channel. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already. But let's go ahead and get into the makeup. Okay, I can't decide if I look absolutely ridiculous with this on my head or not. So if I do, we're just gonna go with it because my hair is all over the place. This is really the best way to keep it out of my face. I keep trying to use these little claw clips, but I have too much hair to do that. It just falls out. So yeah, we're gonna try it with this headband because I think this is gonna be the best for my hair right now. But let's get into these products. So we're gonna start with the new SPF from Jones Road. This is called their Everyday Sunscreen. It's SPF 30. It is zinc oxide, 15.9%. This was sent to me. This is a very interesting product to me because they released this in 5 different tones. So 4 of them are skin tones, and then they do make one that's untinted. They sent me the tinted one that's meant for light skin. But what is interesting about this is they claim that the tinted colors of these are where they were made with color correcting pigments. So they were meant to basically counteract any white cast that there could be with the color correcting pigment that they put in here. So apparently all the shades are supposed to color correct the skin. So we will see. I'm a little bit nervous about this though because mine is more of a yellow tone. And I'm not really surprised by that because I know Bobbi Brown is kind of her brand back when she was involved in it. I've always heard her say she kind of uses and believes in using a lot of yellow toned products. I've seen in an interview by her that everyone has yellow in their skin, so she would formulate a lot of products with yellow tones. I don't know, but I'm a little bit nervous about this. I'm just gonna do it this way. I have no idea what to expect. I was gonna put it on my hands and rub it in, but they also sent a brush for this, which is also kind of interesting. It's called the Daily Brush. And I figured we could use it. So it looks like this. It's just like a flat top brush. Kind of an interesting choice for an SPF. But let's just apply this with the brush first, and then, I don't know, I may add a little bit more with my hands. I'm pretty sure they launched this brush with the sunscreen, which is kind of different. Brands don't normally launch brushes with sunscreens. And actually, once I put it on my skin, it doesn't look as yellow as I was afraid it was going to, so that's positive because I definitely have more neutral leaning cool tones in my skin. I don't have a lot of yellow. So there it is, all over. First impression is it doesn't look super glowy to me on my skin. It looks to be more of a natural finish, which is what I really like in an SPF. Let me get my close-up mirror here so I can see. Oh yeah, so it looks really nice on my skin. It just looks very natural. That's why I described it as a natural finish. That's really what it looks like to me. It's nice. It's nice. I don't know how much color correcting I can see that it's doing really, but I do like how it looks on my skin. All right, let's add a little bit more maybe, or actually before we do that, they also sent me the Tinted Moisturizer, which does this have SPF in it? I don't think it does actually. Okay, so yeah, let's add a little bit more of the SPF. I was gonna say maybe we won't if the Tinted Moisturizer also has SPF in it. All right, this time I'm gonna blend this with my hand. Okay, it doesn't feel thick on the skin either, which I really like. I think in the PR packaging, it said that they worked on this SPF for like 2 years, 3 years maybe, like almost back since the brand was even out, like from the beginning of this brand. So I definitely spent a lot of time on it. There's also no scent that I'm smelling either, which is good. Okay, so here it is on my skin after like 3 minutes. Really like the finish of this a lot. And it does not feel heavy at all on my skin. And I feel like I don't look like I have like a really thick layer of SPF on either, which I don't love. I find that to be true a lot of the times with SPF. If it's a really glowy formula in particular, I already use quite a bit of like more hydrating, glowy skincare. So if I then put a sunscreen that is also very hydrating and glowy on top, it usually ends up being too much. But this, I really like. I like the finish. Reminds me in terms of the finish of the ultraviolet, the SPF I've shown you from this brand, the Future Screen. The only thing about this is SPF 50. This one is only SPF 30. So there's that distinction between the two. I do wish the Jones Road had more than 30, but other than that, I really like it so far. So they also sent me this, the Just Enough Tinted Moisturizer. And I actually haven't seen a whole lot about this either. So it comes in just a squeeze tube like this, and you get 1.69 fluid ounces in here. And I got the shade Ivory. So there is Ivory. Okay. So it's definitely a thicker tinted moisturizer. I shouldn't say it's not super thick, but it's not a watery texture either. Feels really nice, but it is not like super, super thin. But that's it on my hand right there. And this does not have SPF, which I'm guessing the reason they didn't put SPF in here was because they knew they were going to launch this SPF afterwards, because this came out first and then they launched the SPF. So I'm betting that they did that on purpose. But let's go ahead and try this out. I'm just gonna like finger paint it on. I think this shade was supposed to be like a neutral undertone, I think, but it definitely looks a little bit yellow to me just sitting on my skin. I'm gonna switch brushes to my tried and true favorite right now. This brush, not gonna lie, it feels very cheap to me. I like the shape of it, but just the bristles, they feel very, very cheap. So I probably would skip the brush, but I am gonna use this because this is my go-to right now, the 115 from BK Beauty. And I have tried the Jones Road the foundation, and they sent that to me a while ago, and I actually do like that product. It's very, 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 very hydrating. So I would not recommend it for oily skin. I would really only recommend it for dry skin, to be honest. Okay, now that I blend that in, I actually think the shade looks good. So here it is with SPF and then the tinted moisturizer on top. It's been on my skin like 5 minutes. I had to pause because somebody was here doing something in the yard and it was really loud, so I had to stop. But it's been like 5 minutes and okay, looks really nice, really, really nice. And actually I think the color is okay. I was afraid it was gonna be too yellow, but I think it's okay now that I see it on my skin. And yeah, I mean, it looks really beautiful over that SPF, which I'm sure they made them to go together, so I'm not surprised. but I like this. It's very light coverage. You can still see all my skin through it. This is just gonna very, very, very slightly even out your skin tone without doing a ton. I do kind of wish they had just put the SPF in the Tinted Moisturizer maybe instead of doing them separately, because then that's two products you would have to buy if you're wanting both. I mean, that's just me kind of being picky, but they do look beautiful over the top of each other. I'm just saying from like a money standpoint, it is kind of annoying that they're two separate products, but anyways, it does look really, really pretty. I like it so far. Let's do some corrector. I don't have a new one to use, so I'm just gonna do this quickly. I'm gonna use my Kosas corrector under my eyes. I actually have thought about doing a brand, like a full face of Jones Road on my channel. I actually have a lot of the products. Some of them I've purchased myself, some of them they've sent to me, but I have thought about doing like a brand overview of Jones Road. If that's something you would like to see, please let me know and I will do that. Because it's definitely a brand that I would like to dive into a little bit more. I really like, I like Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, the brand, but obviously Bobbi Brown's not affiliated with them anymore. But I am, I don't know, very, very curious about all the Jones Road products. I just love the branding and everything. It kind of reminds me of like Merit. I don't know. So let me know if that's a brand that you are interested in. I can do a full face and do like a brand overview. All right, I do not have a new concealer either, so I'm just gonna use this one. This is my newest concealer, the Sarah Creole one, and I am very, very sad to report that I love this concealer. Oh my gosh, I really do, y'all. It's so pretty. It gives great coverage and it doesn't look heavy at all. Kind of reminds me a little bit of my Natasha Denona, which I love. I do find this one to be a little bit more fluid, a little bit thinner than Natasha Denona, but they do kind of remind me of each other. And I have the shade number 1. This is the only product I've tried from this brand, but I've heard really good things about most of her products. So I would like to try more maybe in the future. Let me know if you've tried anything else from that brand that you like. I would be very curious to know. But I do have to say I love the concealer and I'm glad because it is quite an expensive concealer. So makes it a little bit less painful that I do really like it. And this shade actually is a great match for me. That's the one thing about it is they need more shades, which I'm not shocked by since it's a smaller brand, but the formula is absolutely beautiful. When I use that Kosas corrector under my eyes, I really don't feel like I have to go in with a ton of this concealer or concealer in general because the Kosas does a really nice job on its own. Okay, I have a new powder bronzer that we're gonna try, but before we do that, I'm gonna take a little bit of my Mario Shaping Serum. This one is the shade Light. Kind of been going back and forth between light and light medium. I really like both. The powder bronzer I have is actually the Makeup by Mario one. He just redid the powder bronzer and they removed the talc from it, so I have the new version. But I'm gonna put just a little bit of this down first. And I'm blending this in with the 109 from BK Beauty. I do have a new cream blush as well, the Summer Fridays one, but I think I'm gonna go in with this Mario bronzer over the top of this serum first, just because I want to see how it looks on its own directly over that product, just because they're from the same brand. I feel like it's probably safe to do that. Hopefully the Summer Fridays will be okay on top. But this is what it looks like. I did swatch it already, so if you see a swatch, I did swatch it. This is the shade Light. Now, I think the only thing they did differently with this is just remove the talc. And I did have the previous version in his bronzer, and it was a really nice formula. I had light medium in that one, and oh gosh, you can hardly even see that. I have more color in my skin, especially on my hands right now. So I did swatch it right there, but you really can't see it. So it's definitely very light, like that's it on my finger right there. This would probably be better for the winter time for me. Yeah, because you can't even really see it on my hand. But it feels very nice, very smooth. I think they call this the Soft Sculpt Blurring Bronzer. I don't think they call it the original formula blurring. Anyways, we're gonna add a little bit of this over the top, and I just want to see what it looks like out of curiosity. So let me grab a 107 brush. This has kind of been my go-to powder bronzer brush lately. I'm gonna kind of wipe it off first. You do have a little bit of kick up in the pan when you dip your brush in, but it's not anything crazy. So I'm going to just go over the top of that bronzing serum. This is super, super light, and it looks pretty neutral to me. Again, it's kind of hard to tell in the swatch because I have a little bit more color in my skin right now than I typically do. But it looks to be pretty neutral, which is very hard to find, especially in a powder bronzer. And this shade is so light, I have a feeling if you are really, really fair, this might be a good powder bronzer for you, because I know that can be kind of hard. If you're fair, things tend to be too dark, too orange, too warm. Especially with powder bronzers, it seems like there are very few options for that. So I don't know how much you're going to be able to see on my skin, but it looks very, very pretty. Very natural, not patchy at all. It layered well over that serum. I actually haven't really heard anyone talk about this new, I guess because it's not really new, it's just a reformulation, but I haven't seen anyone use it or talk about it. But so far, it looks very nice. Very, very nice. Feels nice. Easy to use. So far, so good with that. And this is the shade Light, so this is the lightest color. I think there's like 6 colors maybe. But so far, so good. I'll try it again, obviously. It'll be a little bit easier once summer's over and I'm a little bit more fair than I typically am. But this is one of the things I'm most excited about. This is the Summer Fridays Blush Butter Balm. These look so pretty to me. I didn't really have these on my radar, and then I was in a Sephora and I swatched them, and I was definitely very intrigued after I swatched it. This is the shade Toasted Terracotta, which is a really nice kind of neutral nude with like a little bit of a, I was gonna say pink, yeah. It is a little bit pink, but it's a very beautiful color. It's kind of like a sunburned color, but that's it blended out on my hand. They're very sheer, very, very balmy. They very much remind me of the Makeup by Mario, the Soft Pop blush veils, which I love. This formula really reminds me of that. But let's go ahead and apply this. Hopefully it applies well over that bronzer that we have. And I'm using the 109 from BK Beauty to apply this. There were actually, though, several colors that I really was interested in, so depending on what I think of this after I've worn it like for a whole day, I might buy another color of this, because there was another one, I think it was called like Soft Strawberry maybe, but it was really, really pretty. And they actually, I was thinking when I swatched this in store, they were pretty sheer, but I mean, this has a good bit of pigment to it. Yeah, I love that blush color. That was like, as soon as I swatched that one in the store, it was like love at first sight. So I'm glad that I went with that one. Let me take a little bit of what's on the brush over my nose. Really pretty. Have y'all tried these? Let me know. I know there's been so many new blushes. There's the Charlotte Tilbury stick blushes. I have not tried those. The Dior stick blushes. I have one of those and I have tried it. I have the toffee color, which I also have the toffee powder blush right here. Have not tried the powder blush. I have tried the toffee shade in the cream, but there's so many, as always, I feel like there's so many new blushes. But this is what toffee looks like. I feel like this is like old news now, but I've been quite out of touch for the past few months. But that is toffee right there. Really subtle, really nice, like warm nude. I might put a little bit on top because why not? Actually, I might just use the same 107. I'm gonna kind of get some on and then tap it off because I don't want to go overboard. And this color has some glow in it, or some, I guess it's shimmer, but it's really fine shimmer. So I'm just doing a tiny little bit. Actually a pretty combo over that Summer Fridays. God, these smell. It has a really strong smell. Did the last Backstage blushes have a really strong smell? I don't remember them having it, but it's pretty strong. All right, I'm gonna take my foundation brush and just tap over it. Okay, I do have one more new complexion product, and it's this. So this is the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Under Eye Setting Powder, but she recently released 4 new tinted shades of this powder. So it used to just be, I think, 2 different shades, a white one and then like a much deeper one, like an apricot color, I think. But now there's 5 colors. I did open this up already the other day, so mine has already been open. It's gonna be kind of hard to show you because there is no sifter in this product, so you can't close it off, which is very annoying. I don't know why brands make powders like this, because it just makes it really messy, but that's what it looks like. And if you've never like swatched this powder before, it's like the most finely milled powder ever. Like, I don't think I've ever felt a powder this fine. I'm gonna use a Sephora 98 brush for this Laura Mercier powder. I've been liking this brush for really my T-zone, but especially my under eyes lately. And I'm just gonna start pressing this on. I mean, it didn't look to be a super deep peach, so I thought maybe that would work for my skin tone, but I don't know. I should have gotten the pink one. Okay, so that eye has the powder. This eye does not. Don't see like a huge difference. I mean, I'm not applying a ton of the powder, but I don't see like a drastic difference between the two. I have tried, and I actually own the original one of this powder, so the white one, and I've used it here and there. I've never like fallen in love with it. I know this is like a holy grail product for a lot of people. I've never like fallen head over heels in love with it, but I also don't use it as much as I should. So there it is under both eyes. Definitely doesn't look heavy. Yeah, it looks really nice. It doesn't look powdery under my eyes at all. I did use a fluffy brush though. I wonder if I used like a powder puff, it would probably look a little bit more intense than this. But applying it like this, it looks very natural, not like heavy or powdery at all. I don't know that I'm noticing a ton of the peach color on my skin. I don't know. It looks okay. I don't know that I'm like blown away by that. I might need to use it with a puff though, or maybe like a more dense brush to really see the difference. But anyways, that is the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I think those are all the complexion products that I have, but I have a ton of eye products and I don't think we're going to be able to use them all. But anyways, I'm going to do my brows quickly just off camera because that's really boring and it's not anything different than what you've seen before. And I'll be back and we will move into all the eye products. Did my brows and now we have a lot of new eye products. Now, I'm not really sure I want to use all of this stuff, but I don't know how much. I don't know if we'll be able to use it all. I definitely want to use these. So these are the new Makeup by Mario Master Mattes Long Wear Cream Eyeshadows. I have 2 of them, but I also caved and I bought 2 of these new Hourglass palettes. These are the new Curator palettes, the little mini quads. Very pricey, but the colors are just right up my alley. I had to try them. So I have both. I don't know how much. I don't want to do too much on my eyes because it doesn't really go with the makeup look that we've got, but let's pull these out. So I got 2 shades, although I really want like all of them, honestly, but I forced myself to only choose 2. And then I don't know if I end up loving them, maybe we'll get some more shades. I don't know, but I got the shade Sandstone and the shade Taupe. So I'm sure you've seen these by now, but they're like a matte, kind of like I want to say like silicone feeling packaging. Nothing super special, but I must say I'm very excited to try these because I think Mario would get a cream eyeshadow right, for sure. So we've got Sandstone, which is right here, which is kind of like a pinky beige color. And then this is Taupe right here, which is kind of more, it's called Taupe, but it's a pretty neutral looking brown to me. But okay, these are very, very moussey, like very, very moussey. And I can already tell, feels like they dry down pretty quickly. So I think this is going to be a formula that you have to work pretty fast with. What I want to know about these the most is how they compare to my Holy Grail cream shadow, which is the Armani cream shadow. That is like Holy Grail product for me. If you've been around my channel, you've heard me talk about those over and over. So I really want to know how these compare to those. They definitely feel even more matte to me than the Armani ones, just in the swatches. But I'm very anxious to get these on my eyes. All right, so we're gonna apply these first and just see where we end up. So I'm gonna go in with Sandstone first. And I didn't apply anything else on my eyes. Just gonna do this. And I just kind of put that all over the lid, and I'm blending that with the 206 brush from BK Beauty. This is like my go-to brush for cream or liquid eyeshadows. It's very, very good for that. Okay, so that blended like pretty much instantly. So that is kind of similar to Painterly from MAC. That's kind of what it reminds me of, or similar to my Armani shadow in 18M, which I kind of want to get that out and swatch it next to this while I'm thinking about it. Because this shadow in 18M, I use a ton. Yeah, I think this one might have a little bit more pink in it than the one from Armani. This is Armani in 18M. Hopefully you can see. And then this is Makeup by Mario. They're definitely very similar for sure. Well, I mean, they're very similar. I was gonna say Armani doesn't really have much pink in it, but actually it does. This one actually might even be a little less pink. They're similar. So if you have 18M and Armani, I would say it's definitely similar to Sandstone. The Mario definitely, to me, does feel a little bit more matte though. Like almost, like a powdery finish. The Armani is a little bit creamier, still matte, but not quite as like a powdery finish to me. Like this is already like totally dried down on my eye. So these I'm assuming are going to be very long wearing. All right, let's do the other eye. But this is, for me, like this is a perfect one and done eyeshadow. That's why I love 18M from Armani, because it's just slightly darker than my skin tone. And it just kind of evens out my eye. If you can hear crying, that is Woods. He is fine. He's out there with my husband. Now, I did want to show taupe in comparison to the other Armani shadow that I love, which is 22M. So they are very different. So Armani was this one right here. So this is 22M from Armani. This is taupe from Makeup by Mario. Armani is a little bit, almost like a little bit reddish, like a pinkish tone. And then Makeup by Mario is more of a brown, like a true brown. I would say it's pretty neutral though. And then that's taupe kind of blended out right there. So that's Makeup by Mario. That's 22M in the Armani shadow. So those are different, but Sandstone and 18M are very similar. Let's go in with some of this taupe now. This shade is pretty deep for my skin tone. I don't want this to get super dark, so I'm gonna do like that much first. Just kind of like in this outer corner. And then I'm going to use my same 206 brush. Yeah, so these are, they definitely dry super fast. So keep that in mind. You definitely can't, I wouldn't advise to draw this on and like let it sit for a minute, because they definitely dry very, very fast, which probably a positive thing, because I guarantee that these are probably going to last all day and not budge. If you're going to apply it on the eye, have a plan with what you're going to do and how you're going to blend it. You're not really going to have much time to sit there and think about it, so just keep that in mind. So that's pretty. I just used it to deepen out this outer corner just slightly. But I mean, what a perfect like everyday eye look. Honestly though, all the colors of these I think are so pretty. I would really like to have the mauve color. That one is a little bit more of like a plum shade, like a lighter plum shade. I kind of want to get that one. But I went with these two first because I knew these are both shades that I would use a lot. Yeah, so these are extremely matte, like matte, matte, matte. Think like powder, velvety kind of matte finish. The Armanis, even in the matte finishes, they are matte, but they're definitely creamier than these. And you definitely have more time to play with those than you do with these. All right, I'm gonna take whatever is on this 206 and just put that on the bottom lash line. I have these two Hourglass palettes, but like, I don't want to just pile on more and more eyeshadow with this because I don't really need it. And I don't want this to get like it very, very intense and dark. But I did get two of the palettes. So I got the minimalist one, which is this very, as some would say, boring. Yes. But do I love a boring palette? 100%. I will use every single one of these shades. I've seen a lot of like talk about these, about they're very expensive, which they are. And they're like very basic color stories, which they are. But for me, like something like this, I don't mind paying more for it because I know that something like this, I will use all four shades. Anyways, I have that in Minimalist, and then I also have Realist. So Realist is the, I think they call it the neutral quad. It does have more satin and metallic finishes in it though. And then it has this one like creamy matte right here. All right, so there is the Realist. Is that the right name? I keep forgetting the names. Yeah, Realist. So you've got like a metallic here. This one's more of a satin finish. I love that color, a matte. And then this one is more of a, I guess that one's metallic too. So 2 metallics, satin, and a matte. Let me go ahead and swatch the other one too. I'll swatch it next to it just in case you want to see it. I need to do another video and just use these. But I mean, how perfect is this neutral quad? So that is the minimalist and that is the realist. But I mean, these colors just make me happy. I know some people are saying that they are boring, but you know what? Boring is what excites me. So now what should we do? I literally don't know what to do. Maybe we'll do just a little bit of this shimmer right here. So they're calling this a shimmer in the realist quad. I'm going to use a brush, I think. This is a 203 brush from BK Beauty. And I'm just going to apply this on the lid. So this is like a, kind of like a rose gold color with like gold shimmer in it. Very pretty, especially with those 2 Mario shadows for sure, but you're just not going to be able to see a whole lot. Very, very subtle shimmer. Very, very pretty though. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of the matte, this like cream color in here, and I'm going to put a little bit of that in the inner part of my eye right here for no reason really, just to use it. I will use these in another video and we'll just use these palettes so you can see them a little bit better. But I knew as soon as I saw these I was going to buy them because they are so pretty and right up my alley. And then Makeup by Mario released new shades of his Master Pro pencil. And I think there's 4 new shades maybe. There's like a blue, a plum, taupe, and then a bronzy color, and I couldn't help it, okay? I saw him using the taupe color on Instagram. He was using it on a model, and he got me, as he typically does with pretty much anything that he does. Let me swatch. So this is the shade taupe, and I think actually it's gonna be very similar to the Urban Decay liner in Tootsie. If you watched a few videos back, I tried that liner and I loved it, but this is the shade taupe from Makeup by Mario. It's kind of like, it's a brown, but like a cooler toned brown, like a gray brown. All right, so I'm gonna use a little bit of this liner and I think just do like what I typically do. I'm gonna line the outer half of the lash line close as I can get to the lashes. They do have this brush on the other end that I don't always use. Sorry, had to pause. We had a little bit of a meltdown that I had to handle. Okay, so I just applied a little bit of this on my lash line, and then I'm using the brush that comes on the other end to just flick it out slightly. These liners from Makeup by Mario are really nice. They're very creamy, but they are very long wearing. There's another shade that's called Bronze. I think it's just called Bronze. It's so pretty though. I kind of want that shade too. I really like taupey shades like this though. If you have a lighter skin tone and you feel like black or like a dark brown is too much for you, this kind of color is really pretty. Now I'm going to take the liner in the waterline as well. Okay, I'm going to quickly curl my lashes, and we do have a new mascara to try. I actually have a ton of new mascaras. I just had to pick one for this video. I'm going to do one at a time actually, but the mascara that I have is the new one from Persona. This is their tubing mascara. This came out a few weeks ago, and they actually made it in a brown, which is very exciting. It's an actual brown mascara, and the wand is kind of It's a rubber wand, but it's just slightly curved, which typically I love that kind of wand. It's like the e.l.f. Lash and Roll, which is my favorite everyday mascara. So I'm very excited to try this. e.l.f. Lash and Roll is not a tubing mascara, so that's one big difference. Okay, it's definitely, I would say, more of a dry formula. I don't think, this is definitely not wet. My lashes are a work in progress ever since pregnancy. Oh, that is very, very nice. Definitely, I would say more of like a separating type of formula. It's not adding a ton of like thickness or anything. It's just adding some length and some separation, but it's not clumpy. Okay, so that's like 2 coats of it. Very, very nice. This is the kind of formula that I prefer on a daily basis. I like something that's more of like an, I would say, more natural looking mascara. I'm not a huge fan of really intense like volumizing mascaras just for every day, but that looks very, very nice. My lashes have been like kind of strange since I had my son. They are very, I don't know how to explain it, but they don't really want to curl anymore, like even when I use a lash curler. And a lot of them fell out pretty quickly, like all at the same time after I had him. So I'm working on trying to grow them out again with a new lash serum. But they also don't really want to curl as much as they used to, which I'm not sure what that's about. I'll be very curious about removing this tonight since it's tubing. And like my lashes look kind of curled, but not super curled. That's something else that's I've noticed lately is my lashes don't want to curl like they did before pregnancy. I'm not sure what that's about, but it does look nice. It's not clumpy. I love the brown color. So I will keep you updated on this, but I do like the effect. Finally, for the lips, I really only have new lip liner. I don't really have any other new products for lips. So I have one of the new MAC Lipglazer liners. So these, I was in Ulta and I was swatching these. These are super interesting. They're like a glossy lip liner. So like a lip balm almost, but like kind of like the Merit lip liners. This is very, very similar. So this is the shade that I have there in Whirlin, which is like a really beautiful, kind of like a rosy nude. So I thought that was very pretty, but I also have one of the Westman Atelier Lip Shape lip liners. Now these came out a little while ago. I've had this for quite a while. In the shade Biscuit, but like I said, it's been a while since I have filmed with new products. So that is Westman in Biscuit. Sorry, I don't know if you're even gonna be able to see that. So much cooler toned, kind of like a taupey brown, and then that's Whirlin. So I'm thinking we might use a little bit of both, but I'm gonna start with Whirlin. Very pretty color. Similar, and I'm sure inspired by Whirl from MAC. Oh yeah, so this is really gliding really nicely, even though it's like a balmier formula. You still are getting some pigment, and it's pretty easy to apply. Oh yeah, okay, that color is really nice. Obviously, I don't know how long wearing this will be. The kind of similar to like the Rhode lip shapes or the Merit signature lip liners. This formula feels kind of like that, except these are a little bit more pigmented and they just leave a little bit more impact, but they still have that really creamy, hydrating feel. So be interested to see how it wears. I think I'll take a little bit of Westman and just add that in the center of the lip. So this is just a wooden pencil, but also very creamy for a wooden pencil. There's another shade of this that I'm really interested in. I think it's called Shoo Shoo maybe, I think, because that's one of their blushes. That sounds right. I think that's it, but yeah, Nice, very, very nice combo. Now, what should I put on my lips? The only other new lip product I have are these lip glosses from Chantecaille. These were sent to me, but they were sent to me quite a while ago. So that one is really pink. I know that's what I'm going for. What is this? Glimmer. Ooh, that's like a iridescent, like clear one. And this one is Gleam. That's like a golden iridescent gloss. Yeah, so very sheer, just very glossy. Kind of feels minty. I'm not sure. These are the Brilliant Lip Glosses from Chantecaille. I'm not sure if these are like a permanent product or if they were from a certain collection because they're in this purple packaging, but very pretty. All right, so that is everything that we're gonna try today. That was a lot. I want to go over the stuff and my thoughts real quick at the end, like I typically do in these videos, because we found some good stuff here for sure. Now, the Jones Road products, so the SPF and the Tinted Moisturizer. Okay, I like these more than I thought I was going to. The Jones Road, the Everyday Sunscreen, the SPF 30, zinc-based, I like it. And actually the shade Sandy I thought was going to be too yellow, but it's definitely not. It works really well for my skin tone. Actually didn't look like it added a whole lot of color to my skin at all. And I love the finish of it. Very beautiful, natural skin finish. Not too matte, not too glowy. So this I'm excited to continue to use, and I will obviously update you, but this very promising. Definitely think you could skip the brush. This brush feels super cheap to me, so I would skip the brush. The bristles just don't feel super, super nice, which is kind of crazy because it says it's made in Italy. Typically things that are made in Italy are really nice, but I don't know. This is not anything special, but I do like this a lot. And it looks really pretty with the tinted moisturizer over the top. Now there are thousands of tinted moisturizers on the market at this point. So, you know, is this anything that you've never seen before? No. But it is really pretty and it does look great on top of the SPF. So they did very well in formulating these to go together. And I do like it. Light coverage on the tinted moisturizer. So you have to be looking for that kind of product, but I do like them. I like them more than I thought. Probably the most excited about the SPF though. I always get really excited when I find an SPF that works well with makeup. So I'll definitely continue to use that one with other brands on top to see how it works. But so far so good with those. What else did we try? The Makeup by Mario bronzer. This, again, is not like a brand new product. It's just, they took the talc out basically, but it is very nice, very smooth, very easy to apply. It does look pretty smoothing on the skin as well, I will say. It's definitely not like a glowy bronzer. I'll have to keep using it, but again, like I said earlier, if you have a light skin tone or a fair skin tone and you have trouble with bronzers, I think this would be a really good one. Not super warm or cool, very neutral. In fact, I didn't show it, but I did take a little bit of this a minute ago on an eyeshadow brush and I put this in my crease because this would also be a fantastic crease color, I bet, for lighter skin tones. I don't use powder bronzers a ton. I don't really know why. I'm just more of like a cream or a liquid bronzer person. I should go over those with powder bronzer, but I don't do it a lot. But because this one is so fair and light, this would probably be a really good one to set creams and liquids with. So far so good with this, but I'll keep using it and let you know. The Summer Fridays blush, really, really like this. Now, I don't know how long wearing these are. This is my first time trying it on my face, but I love this shade in Toasted Terracotta. Honestly, you could probably, on my skin tone, skip bronzer and just use this. I love the tone of it, but actually they have a little bit more pigment than I was thinking, but they're very balmy, very, very glowy, so you have to like that. Very similar to the Mario blush veils, if you're familiar with those, but I do like that. The Dior blush, this is pretty. I mean, I put it on over that Summer Fridays, so you can't really tell a whole lot about how it looks on my skin, but it's very beautiful. It is very, very fragranced though. Much more than I remember in the previous Backstage blushes. Maybe I've just forgotten, but this one is very perfumed. I wish it was a little bit less, but I do love the color Toffee. It's super pretty. One of the things that I'm kind of undecided about is this from Laura Mercier. It's nice. Like, my under eyes look good. I mean, I guess they look better than good, actually. I was like, I don't really know. But they do. They look very smooth, set, but not heavy. And I don't think this is too dark. I was afraid this peach color was going to be too dark. I don't know. It's very subtle. I didn't notice a lot at first, but when I look up close, I'm like, well, my under eyes do look pretty smooth and set. So I don't know. I will have to keep testing this out, but to be determined on this. I am happy that they came out with new shades though. But okay, the Mario liner, or not the liner, the cream shadows. These are beautiful. I will absolutely continue using them. If I was gonna critique them, I would say you just have to be careful with them. You can't really mess around because they dry really fast. But for that reason, I guarantee these are gonna last all day long. And you know, that's really a good thing, because I know a lot of people have issues with cream shadows fading, creasing, just kind of wearing away throughout the day. Hopefully that will not happen with these. I have a feeling that it won't. And the colors are beautiful. I'm very happy with these two shades. And they blended easily. It's just you don't have a lot of time to play with them. I can definitely see myself continuing to use these as like everyday eye products for sure. Do I like them more than my Armani shadows? I won't say that at this point because I haven't used these enough. I like them initially a lot, but y'all know my Armanis are holy grail for me. So time will tell with the Mario ones, but I am very impressed so far. The Mario liner, very beautiful. It's just an eyeliner. I mean, there are tons of great eyeliners out there. I mainly bought it because I saw him using it with these cream shadows and because I love the taupe color on lighter skin, lighter eyes. I think it's really nice and soft, but you know, it's an eyeliner. It's not anything super special. The Hourglass palettes I can't really comment on because we really didn't use much at all. Really, we just used this shimmer shade in the Realist quad, but these will be coming in another video because I'm itching to put just these on my eyes because, like I said, they spoke to me in such a big way. And yeah, I love little tiny neutral palettes. One of my favorite things. And let's see, the mascara. So far, mascara is nice. I will have to wear it though. Mascara is really hard to judge initially other than just telling you what it looks like initially, and it's very nice. I do think like the curl has already kind of fallen from my lashes, but I won't really fault the mascara for that because that's been happening with all my mascaras lately. Something to do with my lashes, I don't know. But I like the effect. It's very separating, very lengthening. I love the brown color. I will let you know about the wear and if it's easy to remove though, because it is tubing. So to be determined on that. And then, okay, the lip, love these lip liners, especially this MAC one in Whirlin. If you like this creamy kind of formula, like the Merit ones, if you're familiar with those, it's like a lip balm, but in a liner with a little bit more pigment than you would expect from a lip balm. But yeah, I am loving this lip combo, even the gloss on top. I just love all of these together. And Biscuit, beautiful color. I bought it because I tried most Westman Atelier launches, and Biscuit and the cream contour is one of my favorite products from them. So I knew I had to have Biscuit. And I like it. Looks great with that Whirlin. But of the two, I'm probably most excited about the MAC one. Chantecaille gloss, beautiful. It's just a gloss though. It's a clear gloss with gold shimmer in it. And this was sent to me in PR. I did not buy this. I probably wouldn't buy this because it's Chantecaille and it's pricey for a lip gloss. But it is pretty. All right, y'all. I think that is everything for today. This was so much fun. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I've been missing it so much, and I have just been itching to sit down and film a video like this. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I will have everything that I use with shades and everything listed, as always, in the description box with links, and I will link everything in YouTube shopping up on the screen for you as well. If you do shop through my links, I do make a commission that supports me and my channel. So thank you so much for that. If you're new, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe. I do a lot of videos like this and other makeup and beauty content as well. I hope you'll subscribe. And make sure you're following me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. I am planning to start posting more over there here pretty soon. So if you are interested in those platforms, short form content, make sure to go follow me over there. But that is everything for today. Thank you for being here, and I will see you again very soon. Remember, simply be you. Bye.